And welcome to Unidentified. I'm Sandra. This is Lyndall.
Yep.
Lyndall, what do we have on Unidentified for today?
All right, we got a long, winding road to get where we're going, but I promise you, we are headed in a certain direction. All right?
Okay, I'm
anxious
to hear this.
I will soon start my doctorate on comparative mythology, right?
Wow.
So I never thought in my journalism career that would be important, but actually today it's going to be very important. All right. So I'm also a big comic book fan. Right. Which, I named one of my sons Thor before all these movies came out, right? In 2001, I named him Thor. It was based on my love of mythology and my love of comic books. So today we're going to talk about the Valkyrie. Are you familiar with who the Valkyrie are? If not, I will explain it to you. All right. In Norse mythology, the Valkyrie were women who rode flying horses, and they would pick up dead Vikings and they'd bring them to Valhalla, which is basically heaven for Vikings, right? I know.
Okay.
Okay, Marvel used this to make comic books like this. These are characters from the Thor comic books. And those comic books are now movies. Valkyrie was a big character in the last Thor movie, right? All right, so what does all this have to do with why we're here today?
I want to see where this is going.
There is a purpose for this, right? So Valkyries carried warriors to heaven, but today we're going to talk about a guy that got dragged down to hell, right? And then we'll explain the Valkyrie thing in a minute. He was a white man in his 20s to 30s. He was found dead in 1986, right? He had been stripped down to his boxer shorts, right? I'm gonna throw all the elements out to you, and I want you to take each one of them and then put them together. He was stripped down to his boxer shorts. He was missing some fingers and some teeth, right? And then he was shot in the head. His autopsy sketch of the entrance, shot in the temple, and then the exit wound on the other side of the temple. So the bullet went through and through, right? And then he was dumped into a mine pit in Chatham County, right?
Where's Chatham County?
Chatham County is the seat is Pittsburgh. It's right next to Orange County, right along 64.
Right.
Right. So he's stripped to his boxers. He's got some fingers missing, got some teeth missing, and then he's shot in the head. Now, what is that? To me, that means somebody wanted some information that this man had.
Yes.
He was tortured, right? They chop your fingers. Chop your fingers off. They pull your teeth out. They strip your clothes down. They shoot you in the head, and then they dump you in a mine pit, right? And Chatham County's Siler City is too small for this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Really. But 1986. All right, so now we come back to the Valkyrie, right?
Okay.
He had this tattoo on him. Brittany, tattoo. There we go. That is a drawing that was in his autopsy file that the medical examiner made. That is a Valkyrie riding a cobra. Right? Now, I told you they're supposed to ride flying horses.
Right.
All right, this is a sketch that was drawn from the skin of his upper right arm. That's his actual skin there from his arm in his autopsy report. So go back to the drawing for a second. Right? People were staring at the skin. All right. So I talked to a dozen mythology professors and experts in the field, right? None of them know a connection between a Valkyrie and a cobra, right? There's no meaning for that other than this guy must have told the tattoo artist, hey, I want something cool. I want like a Valkyrie and a snake, or whatever. Now, the Valkyrie is often used by Aryan Brotherhood and stuff in prison.
Right.
So there could be this fella could have served some time somewhere. There could be some connection to that between the Valkyrie and the Aryan Brotherhood or whatever. But the snake doesn't make any sense. So what I'm hoping is that it means something to somebody out there that knew this man.
Right.
Right? So this picture, those images that I just showed, the sketch has never been shown, ever. The actual photo of the man's skin is on the NamUs website. but you have to know where to look for that. You have
Right.
to go find that. You know, it's not something that you can Google or something
yeah.
that you can. So that's what we're trying to do here is make all this stuff research friendly. So hopefully someone who's seen that image, who sees this image, they know what this deal is. So to folks in Chatham County area, and like we said, I mean, all right, well, we'll get into that. I took a trip for this a couple weeks ago. I drove from actually way past Spring Hope to Raleigh, and then from Raleigh over to Siler City is straight down 64, right? And then there's a street sign. Lieutenant Seifman taught me to always take street signs, right? So there's Mount Vernon Springs. That's where the mine was this fellow was dumped into.
Wow.
It's about an hour's drive from Raleigh down 64, right? You get there, it's in the middle of nowhere. I mean, the man was obviously brought there. I mean, you can see there's Pittsburgh, there's Siler City, there's Sanford where I grew up at. Nothing, right?
Right.
I think that the man was brought there to be dumped. I don't know if the torture took place there or if that was just the place they dropped him. It's not really clear.
Right.
This week's newspaper has a lot more information about the man's dental records and fingerprints and DNA and all that. I will tell you that there is no DNA in this case, right? There's no. He was found in '86. They weren't thinking about
Right.
DNA then. They
That's
got rid
right.
of the body. There's no samples, so there's no way to match this man.
Well, it's so amazing to me how clothing or tattoos
Right.
can have so much significance. I mean, look at the T-shirt we
Right.
were just talking about. Was that last week?
Yeah, that
Wasn't
was
it
last week. The three bunnies.
Yeah, the bunnies. So clothing and tattoos and things like that can have so much significance in a case.
That's right. You want to get the? Is that the general? He quit. There he is. You want to answer that?
Good morning.
Good morning, General.
Hey, good morning. Hey, good morning,
not
Lester. Good
available
morning,
at the
Sam.
moment.
You guys doing this
At the
morning?
tone,
What is going
your
on?
message.
The phone is messing
Press
up.
pound. To reach an operator, press 0.
Hello?
Let me call you
Yeah,
back.
call me back.
All right.
No.
So the thing about these cases, there's no DNA,
Right.
so there's no way to match a missing person to this person through the databases. So even if we get where we need to be with DNA databases, which we're not where we need to be yet.
Right.
We need to have every missing person who's been missing for more than a week or 2 or 30 days, whatever it is, needs to have their DNA taken from familiar DNA, entered into the system so we can match it up with unidentified bodies. Once we do that, we won't have as many unidentified bodies out there, right?
Right.
But the ones that are there now, there's not much DNA. There's no, so publicity is the only way.
Good morning.
Hey, General.
Hey, good morning, Linda. Good morning, Sandra. Let's retest now.
Good morning.
You know, was on the hands that the fingers were missing, was it all the fingers or the index fingers and thumbs?
It was not the thumbs, but it wasn't all the fingers. It was random fingers.
Okay. Yeah, because there's the other possibility, especially given the absence of removal of teeth and removal of fingers, also makes identification tougher.
You're right, and I had thought about that because we do have out of these 120 bodies, we do have some that's the case where they remove the hands and the teeth, but here it was not all of the teeth. It was just a couple of the teeth that had been pulled out pre-mortem. I mean, and a couple of the fingers had been ripped out. So this was to me this was torture.
It was torture. Now, one of the other things is that the Siler City is straight up also 421, which is a direct line from Fort Bragg.
That's right.
And,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right through my hometown of Sanford.
And because of that, there is an awful lot of organized crime in and around Fort Bragg and military bases. As a matter of fact, one of the biggest organized crimes in the history of this country occurred outside of Columbus, Georgia, town called Phoenix City, which is next to Columbus. In fact, the Phoenix City story was huge because of its organized crime linkages. And the kind of punishment that you suggest is in fact linked to those kinds of organizations. And oh, by the way, as you suggested, the Aryan Brothers and all those guys, those are terrorists.
Right.
So they also employ some very tough tactics. So all the things you put together very easily could be linked to something organized, or in fact a potential betrayal. So, without getting too far down the rabbit hole, you put out some pretty good information, especially the tattoos that should illuminate for some people. The folks involved will probably never come and pick the phone up, but others who know them probably can. So this is probably a bigger tip in many cases than some might suggest.
Right.
But again, good stuff, man. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, General. And I appreciate your Fort Bragg thought. I had not thought about that, but I mean that is probably the closest source for
Makes a lot of
possible
sense.
source for organized crime. Because I mean to me this is a big city crime in a small place. I mean you know hillbillies get crazy, but I mean pulling people's fingers off and teeth off and boxer shorts. I mean it's very mafia-esque for sure.
Yeah.
In Chicago, they take them out to Springfield and Joliet to dump them. In New York, they take them out to outside of the city, over to New Jersey to dump those bodies as well.
Right.
So everybody leverages any place they can try to disconnect or disassociate. So no piece of turf is immune. The place of the action, probably density matters.
That's
But
right.
either way, good stuff. And you guys have a great day. Thanks for what you do.
Appreciate
Thank you
it, General.
so much
Thank
for
you.
calling.
Yes, sir.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, the points that he made are very good, and that's I mean, without a doubt in my mind, I mean this was an organized
Oh,
crime.
yeah.
We don't, I mean, mafia entails all kinds of things, but you don't have to be the mafia to be organized.
Right.
Organized crime, and he's right. I mean, I grew up around Fort Bragg, and I reported on Camp Lejeune for almost 5 or 6 years. So I mean, I'm very familiar with how the military operates, and there is a lot of organized crime, sadly, within military ranks. So who knows? I think, just like the General said, I mean that the tattoo. I mean, somebody knows that tattoo, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
can you, Brenda? Can you show that one more time? The sketch. I mean, that's pretty unique.
It is.
Valkyrie riding a cobra. Again, no connection between the two of them in mythology.
Right.
I don't even think cobras even existed up in North Europe where the Valkyries originated. So I mean, this was something that means something specific
That's right.
to him and to the people who know him. So hopefully they can do that. Now, next week we're going to go from Chatham County over to Sampson County, where a woman was stabbed in the neck and left to die alone in the woods. So we'll be talking about that. After that, we've got a hobo that was found dead in Raleigh, and I got some very interesting stories to talk about the homeless, what I call the purposeful homeless.
Right.
I don't mean folks who lost their job and got but
Right.
I mean there's folks that live.
It is.
Purposely, they live
It is.
homeless, and that's a case we'll be talking about in a couple weeks. And then we still have more than 100 to go. So hopefully, again, what I'm trying to do is build between the newspapers and WHIG. I'm trying to build a searchable database for folks who are missing people from North Carolina or all over. We talked about the the case of the girl with the 3 bunnies on her shirt. She
Oh,
could have
yeah.
been from anywhere, dumped along Highway 40, Interstate 40.
Very interesting case.
So hopefully with these, with the identified, we can build a situation where anybody can look at these. They can Google any bit of this information. One day, who knows, one day someone might be looking for a tattoo of their uncle. They knew
That's
their uncle
right.
had a woman with a cobra on it.
That's
Until
exactly
now,
right.
Googling that wouldn't have got you nowhere.
Nope.
But hopefully, the next time someone Googles this, it'll get them somewhere.
Well, hopefully so. Thank you for watching the K-Files. Thank you for being with us again this week, and we will see you next Thursday, 8 o'clock sharp.
Thanks, folks.